All right, back here in the kitchen. So what do we do after we exercise? Yesterday we had to replace the fuel up again. We consume some calories. Our muscles are aching and things like that. So we need to recover with some good protein, things like that. Today I'm just going to do a normal protein shake that I usually do. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just get basic ingredients, use some fruit. Just keep it in my freezer here. I do have some pre-cut fruit that I have in my freezer. A little bit of pineapple, some cantaloupe. We throw, just a few of those, some strawberries on it. You can use any kind of fruit you want. It doesn't have to be frozen. I usually keep it frozen because if you buy in bulk, it's cheaper and you have a second and that will be waiting for the last minute to get it. So get some of that fruit. You can grab some yogurt. You can use almond milk or any of that kind of stuff. I myself prefer a fat-free milk. And actually this type of milk doesn't have any lactose for anybody that's lactose preference and things like that. So I have my fruit. We'll go ahead and grab some of the protein associated with it. This is a supplement protein that I'll go ahead and purchase on it. There's a variety of things on it. You just have to be taking a look at it, see what you're buying in there, and make sure there's not loaded with or sugars and things like that to make it sweet. Protein itself is not very tasty, but for most of the distributors, manufacturers will use some sort of a sweetener or something, some sort of a flavor. But if you go ahead and add some fruit to it, it allows you to give you that sweetness you want. Now, if you have a sweet tooth like myself, I usually, take some of this agave nectar and put a dab on it, just to give it a little bit taste on it, put the edges on it. It's totally optional. You don't have to do that. All right. So next thing I'm going to use is some fat-free Greek yogurt. Added on protein to my meal. There we go. Teaspoon on it. Tablespoon off of that. I will grab a banana, since I have some of them in here, and add to my fruity protein shake. There we go. This is good. Again, some of that milk with some of the liquid on it. You're welcome. You don't have to use milk. You can put some water on it. Make it a little bit lighter, and that's perfectly fine. I usually try to put some cinnamon on it. If I'm doing a protein shake, there we go. We'll put some cinnamon on it. That's some more flavor. You can use a variety of things on it, or you can use nothing at all. It all depends what you want to do. One of the things that we talked about is also fats. So you have to have protein, carbohydrates, and good fats. Good fats associated with nuts, some of the olive oil, avocado oil, avocados. Those are good sources on it. I'm myself going to throw about 3 or 4 pieces of pecans in it, so it'll just fill it up and try to cover some of the essential nutrients that our body needs. And most of all is you're doing this thing to recover, because your muscles worked out. You have some fibers that got a rupture. They need to heal, and as you heal those fibers, then you have muscle growth. Muscle growth exactly is what we're trying to do, to prevent the risk of falls, inability to stand and do the basic things associated with. Okay, so now a quick shake onto this, get my blender going. Get our protein mix, get it all started, and we can go ahead and start doing this. There you go. This is good enough. So now we're ready to give it a test, right? Straight off the glass. Great. Pair it up with some toast, a little bagel, an English muffin, things like that. That should get you going for the early morning and get some recovery as you do your workouts. Don't do it before, do it after workouts, and that way you can make sure you recover that. See you again. Talk to you on the next episode. Bye.